everybody, welcome to That's Football. Another day in the Premier League, another big story. Nottingham Forest will be handed a 4-point deduction for breaching FFP. This has not been added to this league table at the moment, so Nottingham Forest would swap places with Luton, go down to 21 points, and Luton would be safe. Now, of course, appeals will probably take place. Everton fans, what do you think? 10-point deduction down to 6. Nottingham Forest coming with a 4-point deduction. Is this the Premier League trying to preempt an appeal? Because if they does go to an appeal and it gets cut down again, what's a 2-point deduction? It's, I don't really know what to say anymore. Look, I think it's incredible. We've got an amazing title race, but we've now got teams heading toward... I think the PGMOL has disrupted the title race and its integrity. I think some of the decisions they've made this season, even last week by not giving Liverpool a penalty, just massively damages the integrity of the title race. But down at the bottom, you've got points deductions being handed out to Everton, now Nottingham Forest. Could we see a team get relegated because of points deduction, which is as bad as a title race being dictated to by shocking referee decisions? We've now got relegation decisions being taken by points deductions. Now, look, as we understand it, Nottingham Forest are going to get this deduction because they've breached financial fair play, and they have breached it. They've gone above what they should have spent. They're saying that they're hindered because some of their spending in the Championship has been taken into account. So that limits what they can spend in the Premier League and need to spend to stay in the Premier League. They've also said that the Brennan Johnson sale, which has caused them to breach, was because they wanted to get more money after a set deadline. And that is a homegrown player, which helps them be more compliant. So there may well be mitigating circumstances. I suppose the bottom line is rules are rules, and you went beyond those rules. So I think it's really interesting how that is going to play out. From a purely football point of view, who's the winner in all of this? Realistically, Nottingham Forest played Luton at the weekend. They were 2 minutes away from winning the game. They'd have 2 more points. Luton would have a point less, 6-point gap, 4 off. They're still 2 ahead. So the enormity of that point at the weekend for Luton has ramifications on a 4-point deduction. I think at the end of the day, I want financial... Look, this is my opinion. Get your comments in below. Are you pro or against these points deduction? What do you think it does for the league? I think you've got to make a decision on this. I don't think you can sit on the fence. I think you've either got to want financial fair play to have teeth and bite, or you've just going to want to say, well, you know what, they broke the rules, but we don't want points taken off. I want financial fair play to have teeth. People are always going to moan. It's almost like an amnesty. I said this when Everton got theirs at the start of the season. I think there almost needs to be an amnesty where every team that's done something wrong tells the Premier League and they look at it and go, okay, from this point, no more. Because we've got the 115 with Man City that seems to be going on for ages, but obviously there's 115 there. I do agree with points deductions, but then on the other hand, I also think that Everton and Forest shouldn't be going down with 4 points and 6 points deductions. I still think that they should have enough points and enough quality to outscore Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United. But we could well be in a situation where we do see teams get relegated because of these points deductions. Obviously, it's going to make a lot of excitement. My big concern is, though, you take the 4 points off Forest. Luton think they're safe. Burnley start to have a sniff at safety themselves. Maybe even Sheffield United have a bit of a bounce. And then at the end of the season, or some point in the next 2 months, Nottingham Forest appeal it, and the Premier League says, actually, it's only a 1-point deduction. Suddenly, Forest are safe again, and Luton are batting. The integrity of the sport comes into play, because we all know in the last 2 months of the season, you will get performances from the likes of Luton, Everton, Brentford, Forest, everybody else in a relegation battle. They'll go to Anfield and they'll win 1-0 because they're playing for their lives. You'll start to see those sort of results. But it's really unfair on all clubs involved, whether it's Forest, Everton, who are going to get deductions, or whether it's Luton and everyone else who isn't. If you go away to, say, Bournemouth at the end of April, and you go, a point here is a good point, but then at the start of May, Forest get 2 points back, and you know against Bournemouth you needed to go for it and get 3 points, The integrity's gone, and this is my issue with it now. We're into the last knockings of this relegation race, and teams don't know how to approach a game. Like, you look at the cup game between Man United and Liverpool yesterday, both teams know a draw doesn't do. You've got to try and win the game. And in the Premier League, sometimes a draw will do. And sometimes a draw is a good point. But not if you're 4 points behind the relegation battle and you need a win. And you might tactically set up completely different. And that's where the integrity is going to slip. Because we're now at the business end, and how Luton approach the next few games now, thinking they're above Forest, would be very different if they were 3 points behind them. So it's a problem. It's a really, really big problem. But you're in legal positions now, and the Premier League have given the points deduction out. Nottingham Forest appeal it. I personally will stay this. I think that we need FFP to have teeth, but we need consistency and we need efficiency, and we almost need... This is the Premier League. Like, we can't have individual institutions running their own court cases. Like, if you've breached it, we need to know. There can't be mitigating circumstances. If you've breached it and you knew the rules, you've breached it. And if an independent regulator looks at it and goes, yeah, we think the 4 points is a little bit harsh because, you know what, they were in the Championship for a bit of that, and you know, it's a bit unfair that they can only spend so much, but they're the rules. Like, we need to have, if those rules are weak, we need to get rules that are good, that we don't get appeals, and we can just hand these sanctions out very quickly. Now, whether 4 points should be 6 points, Everton fans might look at that. Are Everton going to get another points deduction? Look, I think this Premier League season has been absolutely incredible, and there's been so many positives in relation to the football. But on the other hand, I think it's been one of the worst Premier League seasons ever in relation to regulation and officiating. The relegation battle is now turning into chaos. You almost need a degree in mathematics, and the title race is under scrutiny because of integrity around ridiculous decisions that are hindering one or two teams and not another team. So, yeah, fantastic Premier League, but just things going on that are somewhat unprecedented. Bottom line, we're ruining the game. We're ruining the game. And if we're going to come out the other side next season and none of this happens again, fine. But on the officiating, they're ruining the game. Whether they think they're getting the decisions right or wrong, they're ruining the game. And on this FFP stuff, it is ruining the game. What they need to do on both of those things is make sure that next season there is a clear pathway to it not ruining the game, so that everybody knows the rules, and if you breach those rules, you're going to get these points. I completely sympathise with the fact that this is the first time the FFP have ever had any teeth, and there will be teething problems. But we need to get it nailed down. Why is it 6 points for them, 4 points for them? If they appeal, what are you going to do? Give them a 1 point deduction? What's the point? I don't see it. I don't see the points. Sorry, I don't see the point in a 2 point deduction or a 1 point deduction. I think even a 3 point deduction, one win. I mean, it's almost getting pointless anyway, pardon the pun. So, look, lots to get your comments in. Personally, in relation to the relegation battle, I don't think the 6 point deduction for Everton's going to get them relegated, and I don't think a 4 point deduction for Forest should get them relegated. I still think they should have enough quality to get more points than Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United. But it is interesting as things stand at the moment. And as I said, you've got to take 4 points off Forest. They'll be on 21, not 25. Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. I'll speak to you on the next one.